Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. Every Friday, 9 o'clock. For over 5 years, Todd and I have been masterminding with just amazing leaders in the mortgage and real estate space. More times than not, we're bringing in top producers in the mortgage space. But today, we are bringing in a CEO of a very large real estate platform who's also an author of a pretty awesome book. And we're going to be finding out why he wrote the book, and we're going to be finding out what he thinks mortgage and real estate professionals need to be doing. Good morning, Adam. It's good to have you, my friend.
Hey, Dave. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me, and good to see you too, Todd.
You know, it's great to see you. And Dave didn't mention the big thing. You are the CEO of REMAX. I mean, of all companies, you know, one of the most prolific real estate brands. So we are super, super excited to have you.
Thanks. Great to be here. And I look forward to, we were having some pre-conversations, so everybody knows we're going to dig deep today. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jonathan Roach, thank you very much for introducing us. I know you said amazing things about him, but finally I got an introduction and we have him on the stage. Hopefully this is not the last time we have Adam. And then I also think it's pretty cool because anyone who's been in this group that we've had for 5 years now, it all started when I partnered with Darren Hardy to do his insane productivity for mortgage professionals. And so this group started with Darren. And is it safe to say that you wouldn't know Jonathan if it wasn't for Darren? Like that's how you guys all met, was at one of Darren's events?
That's correct. Yeah, Jonathan and I were in one of the high performance elite groups together. And anytime we go to one of Darren's events, Jonathan and I are in the gym at like 4:30 or 5 a.m. every day working out together. So he's a great guy and really a super achiever.
Yeah, no, great guy. And Jonathan, thank you for that. And folks, as a reminder, you guys see Jonathan a lot. Part of how he gets trained, part of the positive content that he puts in his mind that power him is Darren Hardy. So if you're not subscribing to the Darren Daily, you're crazy, because it's, you know, the best daily email for high achievers. And if you are not, you know, subscribing to everything Darren does, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. So Todd, how do you want to do this interview? I've got my first question because I want to find out a little bit about the backstory, but what do you say you and I just go back and forth? I'll ask a question, you ask a question, and we'll get as much out of Adam before he has to go in 45 minutes.
That sounds like an awesome plan. Let's take it away, Dave.
All right. Well, I like I said, I want to know what I can't read in the book a little bit. And I also want to know who is the guy that became the CEO of REMAX. So anything about your backstory we'd love to hear it.
You bet, Dave. And a lot of people are going, how in the world did you put from here to here together? And really it started day I graduated high school. I joined the Marines, went to boot camp. Everybody, graduation day, everybody's like, hey, where are you going to the party tomorrow? I'm like, San Diego, Marine Corps boot camp. And I'm going, you're nuts, man. But I needed it, and we all think it's structure and we think in, achievement and the process, the hard work to get there. And that really instilled that in me at a very young age. I got into law enforcement in my early 20s. Always wanted to be a cop. My dad was a federal law enforcement agent. As I was growing up, I used to watch him walk out the door, and he worked organized crime. So worked on some major organized crime cases. So he would kind of disappear for a few days and come home a little disheveled. And I'm like, where have you been? He's like, out working. And, just kind of this learning mindset. So I got into law enforcement. I became a street cop. I got on a SWAT team because of my military background and really my desire to be the best of the best, and ended up commanding the SWAT team over a decade. I started a couple businesses in the process. I've always been an entrepreneur. For everybody on this broadcast, good enough is never good enough. And I think we all agree to that, but we have to be controlled in how we get there and be very intentional. So started a couple businesses. I'm a counterterrorism instructor and trainer, and started doing a lot of homeland security consulting. And I started creating a real estate agent safety program, because we all know real estate agents go unknown places with unknown people. Someplace I looked at and thought, as a cop, I wouldn't go there without backup and a gun. So, I'm thinking, why are real estate agents doing this? So started a real estate agent safety program, got picked up in the industry. REMAX bought that from me. Just so happens before that, I had met the founder of REMAX, the co-founder, Dave Liniger, and his wife, Gail. And he started mentoring me, and I said, I'm going to build this program. He goes, do it. Let's see. And I built it. It took off, and he's like, I want to buy that from you. So REMAX bought the program from me. And then one day he called me and said, come work for REMAX. I said, what am I going to be doing working for REMAX? He goes, well, you're great at consulting our businesses, our franchisees and our agents. So come do that for us and see where you end up in the company. I said, okay, will you mentor me in my leadership and training? He said, absolutely. So that was 2003, the end of 2003, and worked my way up through the company, ran several regions around the U.S., ran the California-Hawaii region during the time when the market fell off the cliff, which was not fun for any of us that were in it at the time, but it was an amazing learning experience. We all knew we were going to fail in so many ways, but we learned a lot about our resiliency and how to continue that fight every single day, and became COO, then co-CEO, and now I'm CEO of one of the largest real estate companies in the world, and super proud to be here and honored to serve people every day.
Wow. Well, there's so much gold in that story. And first of all, thank you for your service. Super grateful. And it sounds like not only in the military, but, serving us, as a first responder. So thank you very much for that. And what an interesting backstory. Who would have guessed that you would be leading the largest real estate business or one of the largest real estate businesses? So I took down, guys, good enough is never good enough. And good isn't the enemy of great. So we are rolling into the fourth quarter, where we can really start thinking about, how we've executed this year, where we can do better, and a lot of gold in that. Todd, anything you want to ask around that, or any other questions you want to go to?
It's funny that you took the same quote that I took. I mean, good enough is not good enough. And so, I'd love to dig deeper on, all your past, but real quick, just give us the idea. Why did you decide to write this book and write it now?
So I started a podcast about 3 years ago called Start With a Win when I took over as CEO. I wanted to make sure that the public, the community, the people that want to see what our business is about understands the values that we reflect in the business. And as the North Star for the business, our values need to be just displayed as brightly as we possibly can, and we need to demonstrate that we live to those values. So I started talking about that winning mindset, providing great levels of service, holding ourselves to a higher standard personally, professionally, in our families, our health, finances, things like that, because you can't just be good at one thing. And here's another one for you, Dave. How you do one thing is how you do all things.
Right.
So, I wanted to demonstrate that life is not just about business. Life is that holistic wheel. And if we have a flat spot on that wheel, it's not going to be able to turn very well or perform at the levels we want. So I had this podcast, and Wiley Publishing seemed to like my podcast. And they called me one day and they said, you ever thought about writing a book? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. I think something like 89% of society wants to write a book, yet 1% of society actually does. So I started working with them over 12 months, ended up cranking out the book, and launched this week on the 19th. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there holding a copy of my own book, and it's pretty amazing. So it's a lot of my life, my podcast, Start With a Win. And, a lot of the principles that Dave and Todd, you guys have mentioned, Darren Hardy, that I, learned from Darren, and I learned being a aggressive achiever in society.
So winning, starts with a win. How do you define winning, and what is the win from your perspective?
Well, life is a series of challenges. And if you look at those challenges as opportunities, and those challenges might start first thing in the morning when your alarm goes off and you have to put your feet on the floor and get out of bed, and then you turn around and you look at your bed and you're like, I have a challenge. Do I make my bed? Or do you just kind of get back in there and hope that the day at some point kicks you in the rear end and says, get moving? But the reality is, when you live in an achievement mindset, you look for those challenges, turn them into opportunities, and take action on them with the right attitude. That's how you create wins. And wins can be everything from making your bed in the morning. We've all heard the Navy SEAL commander talk about first thing is make your bed. but you have a series of decisions to make. And how do you turn those into a win is how you define that win that you're at this particular moment. Is it making one more client phone call or client contact? Is it shooting that video that you're like, no, I can't do that right now. No, I don't feel good about what I'm about to say, whatever it might be. You got to just take and step up and gut it out and take the action, because actions create wins with good attitudes. Or do you let it pass you by? And it's a fleeting moment, because it's not going to happen again. You know, nobody writes down, all right, I'll put this off till later. I'll put this off till later. I'll put this off till later. They don't get back and get those things done. Get them done. Because most of the things we can do in life take less than 2 minutes, for crying out loud. So that's what wins are. They're micro wins. They turn into macro wins. And next thing you know, you got a winning life.
Well, how do you approach it then? You know, I know you talk a lot about overcoming fear. It seems like that's a lot of what holds people back from, you know, wanting to be the person, the 1% to write the book versus the 89% who think about that.
I love this question, Todd. Thank you. Tell you what, fear, let's call fear the beast. And there's inside of every one of us a beast that is fear, doubt, overwhelm. It is our question. You know, we've heard the imposter syndrome. We've heard of all of these different doubts that sit within our heart and our mind and make us second guess ourselves of whether or not I should be doing something. Whether or not, as a SWAT operator that is standing at a door you're getting ready to breach, knowing that there's somebody inside who wants to kill you and you've got to go do your job, or it's as a Marine and you've got to charge up this hill under fire when, you know, there's bullets and bombs going off everywhere. But it could be as an LO, it could be as a realtor, it could be as somebody in car sales, or a professional sitting behind a desk. We have all these doubts every day. That's the beast. And in fact, there's a movie made about this. It's called Monsters, Inc., everybody. We all have that monster in our world, that noise in our closet that we're afraid of as a little kid. Do we fear that beast? Because if we fear that beast, we'll never get anything done. Or do you look at it and go, that beast is on the other side of that door. I'm going to go have a party with that beast, because when I go to party, I party hard and I have a lot of fun. And so you just have to convince yourself, trigger that change of mindset and think to yourself, party with the beast. And we used to talk about that before a complex SWAT operation. We would talk about our fear, our doubt, our overwhelm, the relationship we have with that in our hearts and our minds, but also our skill set that we can accomplish these things. And we had to decide right then and there, do we fear that beast or do we party with that beast? So let's party with the beast and just take action and get it done. And you know what? I'm still here after a lot of parties with that beast, and I love the party.
You know, I love that. One of a term and a phrase that I adopted after going through Darren's Insane Productivity was jam sessions. You know, like, of all the things that I learned in Insane Productivity, and just calling it the name, like, you know, we always heard about time blocking and on time and, you know, lots of boring words for setting time aside that's focused and intentional to do important things. And he called them jam sessions. And now I'm like, oh, you know, got a jam session. I mean, that's my favorite thing in my calendar. But now you just gave me a phrase, party with the beast. So instead of you know, the obstacle is the way, I'm gonna use that word internally and externally. Party with the beast is attacking fear and the hard to do things. So I like that.
Dave, there's something I have to share with your audience. This is really special to me. In my book, I talk about the beast, and I talk about a story, the story of Party with the Beast, that I learned from an amazing. He's kind of like a Jedi master in SWAT. I mean, this guy is an incredible commander. His name's Bruce. Right before we went on live with this today, Bruce reached out to me and sent me a text and said, "Party with the Beast, brother." Oh, it was so cool. So, I mean, just, this is real. There are people that are living with a beast in their life, and all it takes is that little pat on the back or kick in the rear, or just that, you know, like Mel Robbins says, count backwards from 5, whatever it might be, but give yourself a trigger and party with the beast. I just say party with the beast and I go. But that was a special moment today for Bruce to reach out and tell me to party with the beast right before we went on. And I don't get those texts from Bruce much. So this is really cool.
Huge. That's huge. And so guys, I hope everybody, you embrace that. And whether you're a top performer or whether you want to become a top performing mortgage professional, we all know that one of the hardest things we do, it's prospecting, and doing it consistently, doing it daily. And so, if you're struggling to get in your prospecting time, let's rephrase that. Let's all go party with the beast. So also would remind you guys, this is a mastermind. So, I'm checking you out in Zoom. If you have questions in Zoom, let us know what they are. Todd or myself is paying attention to comments in our Facebook group, whether you're watching the recording of this, because we're going to get at them back. Ask your questions. We would love to get some questions from you. So I want to make sure that mortgage professionals know what's in your book that's going to not only make them better as a mortgage professional, but one of the things we teach and train here at Mortgage Coach, it's we want you to be more than a loan officer to realtors. We want you to be true value providers. We want you to be leaders. We want you to help improve their conversion. We want to help beyond the transaction. So where is some of the gold? And I'm sure the whole book is gold for loan officers, but loan officers, realtors. Where is the gold in the book for mortgage professionals to be more valuable to agents?
Well, first of all, you're right, Dave. There is a lot of gold in the book. Mortgage officer, agent, personal trainer, CEO of a company. There's something in here for each of us because you know what? Business is business, and we are all humans doing business. So, the reality though is there's a word here that we use and hear a fair amount in our industry, but do we really truly manufacture moments that create this? And that word is trust. So research during the pandemic has shown that 3 words mean the most to society now. 3 words mean the most. That's trust, safety, and inclusion. And you can substitute the word community for inclusion as well, because communities are inclusive. But the reality is those 3 words, trust, safety, and inclusion, and I'll go to trust more than anything here and talk about that in the order, trust, safety, and inclusion are what people are looking for. So what creates trust? And that's the trust between you and the agent, because we know there's a great deal of referral opportunity in this industry, but also there's the trust that we're both battling that beast together. And what's that beast? Let's get the closing day. Let's get this thing funded and closed. All right. And that's the reality of most businesses. How do we get there? Presence, communication, transparency, a common effort, knowing that we're working for each other. So I have a phrase in the book, and that's presence creates trust. Presence creates trust. And I have another phrase I'm going to give you here in a second, but let's talk about presence creates trust for a brief moment. Dave, you talk a lot about using video and how on your platform, the video helps people communicate with the client, the realtor, things like that. And a lot of people are afraid of how they look or how they sound on video. And the reality is nobody cares but you. They just want to know that you're there for them. And that builds trust because we all have flaws. You've heard the term, you're flawsome. Well, it's true. We all want to see each other's flaws because we want to know that we're dealing with somebody who battles the same beasts that we do. That's the reality. So you have to be present to your client base, your current, your future client base, your past client base, and anybody else that you're communicating with. That's why we're on this video right now, by the way, in this little box that we all got used to using during COVID. And that's what people want. They want your presence to create that trust. Second thing, top of mind is first in line. Top of mind is first in line. What happens when people start thinking about a refi, about a mortgage, about their financial needs? What do? They go to Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever it is that they want to go do their research, YouTube. Obviously the top 3 places they go to are Google, YouTube, and Facebook to look for these things. But be present. You have to be present. And they don't care what your text says. They care what your face says at these things, which is video. Come on. So That's what we have to think about in the book, is all these little tools and tips to create a human being that people trust and believe in. You can't be fake. You can't go home and kick the dog and yell at your kids and be a bad human being and expect people to not see that. If you're sitting here going, hey, it's Adam, I'd love to do business with you, they're going to see right through you. You got to be a good human holistically, and you got to talk that way and be that way visibly to everybody to get that top of mind is first in line, and presence creates trust.
And guys, what he just said, that's what creates an optimized conversion. That's what creates an optimized relationship with a realtor. And I just want to remind folks, we talk about this a lot. We built video into the mortgage platform so that when you're communicating numbers, you're giving options, you're providing transparency, you can connect. You can give the family a narrative, but also want to remind folks things like text video. Just you met with someone, you had a great conversation, pull up your phone, no software needed, click the button, give them a 15-second to 30-second. Presence creates trust. Top of mind is first in line. Video is just essential. Anything, Todd, any questions you want to ask before I got a couple questions on that I think will help add value to his content, to mortgage specifically, but any questions you have, Todd?
Yeah, let me kind of pile on, going back to partying with the beast, right? So I love, Dave, that you're going to take a jam session, turn it into party with the beast. And I'm going to, of course, say party with the beast by noon. And I think that, you talk about being Marine, being in SWAT, and that you guys are, in life-threatening situations. And what came to my mind was, skill set and preparation. And so I feel like, as I'm talking to, you loan officers, you guys have the skill set, and you just have to make sure you've got the preparation, right? That's what Mortgage Coach does. It makes you look better, and we've got so much content in this community, that you can look at, with regards to that. So we already kind of talked a little bit about overcoming fear. You also talk about frameworks. Any framework that you have that comes to mind that may be a benefit to someone who's struggling in the mortgage community?
The first thing I would ask somebody who's struggling in the mortgage community is hold up the mirror and, are you okay? We can't go out and do our jobs well, whatever those jobs are. And let's take the mortgage community just specifically here, because you're dealing with an emotionally charged decision that we're trying to put some logic to. Okay. There's, we're trying to assign logic and then back it up with emotion here. They're coming in hard with emotion, and then they'll validate with logic. People are 100% emotional creatures. But those of us that work in the numbers world, we're like, I'm a numbers person. I'll tell you, that's a bunch of crap. You are an emotional person that can justify things with numbers. So, the reality is we're here to help people overcome the beast. Okay. What is that beast? That beast is the fear that I cannot financially afford this, or it's going to compromise my ability to take care of my family or my future, or it's change, and people don't like change. We're creatures of habit. So what helps facilitate that? The trust, the presence, the relationship, the safety. Remember, trust, safety, inclusion. When they feel safe with something, they're more likely to move past that as their barrier to movement. The two biggest reasons why a deal doesn't close, it's not they don't have the money, it's the fear and overwhelm. Biggest reasons deals don't close is fear and an overwhelm, because we didn't get that far if it was the money part. Okay. So, and yeah, every now and then somebody goes and buys a car, or they, get a new credit card, or one of those things that we all tell them not to do, but you can't fix that sometimes. That's one of the realities. But, that's what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to, Todd.
So one thing I know for sure, we've got this modern mortgage or modern real estate summit coming up on November 3rd, and it's a virtual event. So it's a video. If you're invited, if you'd like to create a presentation for that. I know I would love to hear more about Party with the Beast, but are you game and interested in, being part of the modern real estate summit we have coming up?
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it. And, well, I have a bunch of travel and events I'm speaking at, but yeah, if I can squeeze it in, absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll talk offline about that, but mortgage community, if you'd like to hear Adam talk more about Party with the Beast in the Modern Mortgage Summit, let us know down below. Give us some feedback. And if there's some other topics you'd like to hear him talk about at the Modern Real Estate Summit, let us know. And remember, guys, that is November 3rd. Really, next week is the week. A lot of the way we're distributing that event, Adam, is mortgage companies, branches, top producing loan officers are buying tickets and giving them out to their real estate agents. So one thing, I can't have you on this call and not find out how you think it's going for local real estate and mortgage professionals. You know, we're big believers here at Mortgage Coach that local, whether it's real estate or mortgage, if they're leveraging technology, if they're using media, they're creating video, we think like it's going to be a really good decade ahead. But what are some of your thoughts, just macro, for local professionals? What are the things you think they need to be doing to be relevant in the future and to win? You know, what's a start by win that's going to help mortgage or real estate professionals?
Great question, Dave. I mean, first of all, I'm going to say you've got to be intentional, because, you know, saying social media, technology, all of these different things, if you're not intentional with what you're doing while you're on those platforms and how you're operating, you are absolutely just, you know, you're burning money. Let's just call it what it is. Because I mean, really, what do we do here? We operate under three principles. We have skills, we have time, and we have money. And we'll trade two of those for another one. And you just got to pick which two of those you're trading for the other one: skills, time, or money. So realistically, what you're doing right now is, you know, you're trying to gain skills by watching this video. So you're trading time and money for it. It costs you to be on this call, by the way. This costs you money and it costs you time. Why does it cost you money? Because you're not making money from somebody else right now with this. Or maybe, I mean, you've got to pay for your internet, you got to pay for your computer or whatever else you're watching this on. But the reality is you're trading time and money for skills. So we have to take a look at how do we maximize those three currencies that we have to invest in our business. Because I can tell you one thing, there are other people, the intermediaries in society, that are trying to take those things from you and your opportunity to utilize those things. And I'm not being a tinfoil hat person here and thinking the sky's falling and people are, you know, creeping into my house to listen to what I'm saying. But the reality is people want to get between you and your customer by playing with these three things. The people that are trying to get between you and your customer are, let's just call them the big four. Okay. So, and there's more out there. So you've got, you know, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and Apple. Those guys are squeezing in between everything. You know, like, what is Facebook taking from you? They're taking your relationships from you. They're deciding whether or not they serve your customer up with your information or not. Here's the reality of what you have to work on in order to control your customer base and increase your transaction count between now and, you know, Dave talked about 2027. Let's talk about next week, for crying out loud. So, what do you do to overcome these things, and where's the industry going? Everybody wants to sell you your business back. That's where the industry's going. Doesn't matter which of those four it is. And by the way, what do the other three control? Well, Amazon controls supply chain and products. So, you know, when's Amazon getting into mortgage? Hello, I think we all, you know, see that coming here pretty quick. If not, they're already trickling into it. What about Apple? Apple has the remote. You know, we've all got one of these little guys. I don't care if it's an iPhone or something else, but the reality is they control the remote control. You know, Google controls knowledge. So what are all these things doing? They're wedging their way in between you and your customer, and that will continue to happen. And then what happens? You buy your customer back via leads and referrals. The question is, do you own the relationship better than they do? Do you own the knowledge base better than they do? Do you own the product better than they do through your relationship and direct communication with them? If you build a Facebook group with your customers, make sure you got all their email addresses and phone numbers, okay? That's the only way to secure your customer base, to own your book of business in real estate and in mortgage in the future, is not to be buying those people back from the big four. So, and you could add a bunch of other aggregators in mortgage and real estate when it comes to the portals and things like that. But that's the reality, folks. So that's where it's going. There is a fight to get between you and the customer, and who's going to win it? It's going to be won by the person who has the direct communication with the customer. Presence creates trust. Top of mind is first in line. That's how we win going forward. And that's where the industry is going, because the customers out there, they got a lot of money and they're still spending it. It's who gets the biggest bite out of that.
Yeah, I love that. I like the way you framed it. You're going to be buying your customer back, figure out how you can't eliminate the cost, but reduce the cost and build a moat around that customer. Now, tell me what your thoughts on this. So like, we believe that by going, having a different mission, like our mission at Mortgage Coaching, which we teach loan officers, is to turn borrower education into a competitive advantage. Like we believe there is this financial crisis in America. People don't come out of college or high school knowing how to manage money. They don't really come out of school knowing the difference between owning and renting and just strategies around financing their home. So we have this thesis that if your sales experience is educational and creates a more financially literate, a wiser person around being a wealthy homeowner, that's a great competitive advantage. And then if you're creating social media, with these little how-tos, like that should be part of your plan to be the most well-known, most high-trust educator, real estate and mortgage. What are your thoughts on that strategy?
100% agree, Dave. I mean, you've got to be the resource in the marketplace, and not just saying what you want to say, but saying what they want to hear. So when you look at how do you approach the consumer? You approach the consumer with the words that the consumer uses, the things that the name of their beast. So that beast may be bankruptcy, it may be default, it may be losing money because you're overpaying. Whatever that is, that's how you approach that. But Dave, you're 100% correct. We have to be in front of them all the time. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to overwhelm them. Guess what? The algorithms are not going to let you overwhelm them. The algorithms will serve you up as much as you need to be in front of them. But the algorithms aren't going to serve you up if you're not doing anything about that. So, there's a reason why I got a call from a publisher that said, hey, do you want to write a book for us? It's because I was doing all the stuff you just talked about, Dave. I was on video, I was in a podcast, I was putting myself out there on social media, creating memes, the whole, for lack of a better term, the Gary Vaynerchuk formula, and, getting out there and same thing you guys are doing here. It's impactful. People want to learn from you, but tell them the things they want to hear instead of the things you want to tell them. And that's how you get them to listen. And we don't sit down with our friends and go, hey, Todd, let's talk about what interest rate you're at right now. I mean, when's the last time you did that with one of your buddies over a beer? I mean, it's just, he's like, sorry, we're done. That's self-serving. Be giving, not self-serving. And, when somebody wants something, they're going to ask you for it and have the answer ready. So hope I answered your question, Dave, but I mean, you were spot on with what you're talking about there, buddy.
Well, it's good to hear that we align, and I'm loving this conversation, but I know we're going to have a longer conversation in December at some point. Hopefully we can get you on the Modern Real Estate Summit. We'll shoot an email after this call on that. Todd, what's your next question here?
I feel like I've got to ask, you talk about serving your customer, and for loan officers, such a big, most important relationship is with their real estate partners. What advice would you give to a loan officer on how to better serve the real estate partners, and what mistakes do you see them making currently?
Great question, Todd. I've taught quite a few classes to different mortgage companies on this. The reality is, what do real estate agents want? They just like you, they want to get that deal closed. Okay. And they also want that client to be happy so that they refer future clients. So how do you do that? You make the real estate agent the hero to the client, and you over communicate with the real estate agent. There are many different places where you can ask for the referral, or where you can make them look like the hero in your process. And a lot of people have a different process for how they communicate all the different functional trigger points in the transaction itself. And you in mortgage have many of those with the real estate agent. You also have many of those with the client, which many times the real estate agent has referred to you. So you look at every single one of those. The time to ask for somebody's happiness is not at the closing table, okay? It's in all these little wins that occur along the way, the celebrations that you should have. Hey, guess what? Looks like we've got all the boxes checked on the documents we need to get. I'm going to come back. First of all, congratulations and thank you for that. Let me get back with you and make sure that nothing else pops up. Here's what's likely to pop up is we're going to need another, pay stub, or, tax season just coming through. So need another W-2 or whatever it might be. But I just want to say congratulations and thank you for getting all that together for us. We're really excited about getting this thing done with you. That type of, just little celebrations. They're pats on the back. They're recognition and personal appreciation that people can't give themselves. And you call up the real estate agent and say, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. We let the client know this. And we told them how much, we appreciate you and you're a great person to work with and blah, you're trading in sentiment here, trading in sentiment. And you look for the opportunities to make those trades. That's what helps us. That's what it's about when it comes to what does the agent want? They want to feel good. They want to feel like progress is happening. That's what you want as the mortgage loan officer. You want to feel good. You want to feel progress. And guess what the client wants? They want to feel good and they want to feel progress. So look for those opportunities and over-communicate them and be appreciative. Be appreciative. A challenge is an opportunity. It's not a chance to yell at each other or complain about something or I'm busy, my day sucks, whatever. Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear how appreciative you are of each other.
I love how you started it with be the hero. I want to remind folks I've interviewed Donald Miller a couple times. I'm going to put a link down below to that interview. I also wrote an article and, shining a light on other people, making your real estate agent the hero, making your families the hero. It's where it's at. And I think you and I clearly agree in mortgage and real estate, people are doing a lot of me, look how much business I close. Look how great I am, and if you can make your clients the hero, you can make your real estate agents the hero, you're going to win. Celebrate their success, guys, especially in mortgage. I think we need to do a good job of that. So make sure you guys listen to that interview. If you haven't already, if it's been a year, I would re-listen to it because it really aligns with what Adam just suggested. So Adam, I know we need to get you off in a few minutes and get you on your way to the airport. Thanks for making time to make it here. But, I know hopefully you're going to be on our community again. I want to make sure folks get your book. But in the mortgage space, a lot of the ways that we leverage books is loan officers will get books, they'll read it, they'll buy a case of them, and then they'll go out and give it to agents. And it's a leadership gift. What would be some of your advice on, to mortgage professionals as it relates to your book, how they might frame it and make it one of those books that they give out to agents as a leadership gift?
Thanks, Dave. First of all, you can find the book at startwithawin.com. Or startwithawin.com/book. And it's really, this book is not about business. This book is about us being happy, healthy, productive human beings. It's about the fact that we can build a great life. We can be healthy. We can love the people around us. And we've had a lot of pressures against that. So, people want to be fulfilled now. We went through this great reset in society with COVID. Everybody wants to hit that reset button and go, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. And, you could say, okay, well, some people have lost loved ones or friends or anything like that. And there's some misery around that. But the reality is, even those that went want us to be happy. So life is about being happy. Life is about winning and feeling the success, that little dopamine hit we get when we do something where we're like, oh yeah, I made my bed in the morning. Check. Yes. Awesome. I told my kids I loved them 3 times today. All my kids are at college now, but I tell my kids I love them. And my wife, I love her to death. The book is dedicated to her. So what are you doing to make little wins in your life and your relationships? Because the reality is that's how you will perform in business. Most people only give 25% of what they have. They show up with a bucket to work and it's 25% full. How do we get the rest of that bucket filled with the other 75%? And I know everybody's sitting here thinking, am I giving that other 75% also? That's what the book's about, is what all do you need to do to put that gas in the tank and give that extra 75%. Doesn't matter what business you're in. Humans are humans. Business is business. It ain't different no matter what you do. So it's a great caring book. And that's why I wrote it the way that I did, is I want people to know that when you give it to somebody, you care about them and you want to see them have some more wins, feel a little more satisfaction, have a greater cause in their life. And it's achievable. You can do it. So that's really what it's about, Dave. Winning is winning. Doesn't matter if you're the garbage man or you're the, running a country or a business or whatever it might be. Winning is winning. Let's help people make those little bitty changes to win some more.
Well, this fits so perfectly into call it a macro strategy that we bring to our community a lot. And I interviewed a futurist who was the chief futurist for Intel, Steve Brown, and he shared an acronym with our community, WACD. And when he shared it, he said, hey, if you're in specialty retail, you know this acronym and you've been executing on this. And if you haven't been executing on WACD, you're either out of business or you're slowly going out of business. If you've executed really well at WACD, your future is bright. And he brought this to the mortgage industry. He brought this to our community. For anyone that hasn't heard me say it from stage, WACD stands for what Amazon can't do. And you mentioned earlier, it's not a question of if, it's just how and when are they in the mortgage space. And guys, what you just heard is it. Be your best you, be positive, bring great leadership, be attractive, be local, and then make sure, guys, you are executing on that. Just because you are local doesn't mean you're executing hyper local value to a consumer. Just because you are local doesn't mean you're giving hyper personal value to a consumer. So anyways, we align really well. You're amazing. Todd, any closing thoughts before we let Adam jump and get off to his travels?
We only have 1 minute to keep him on time. So I just want to say, on behalf of our community, thank you so much. We can't wait to learn more, see more. I'm going to encourage all of you, go out there and get the book. Mine should be on my doorstep today. So I will be having even deeper, better questions for our next conversation. So safe travels, and thanks so much for being part of our day.
Awesome, guys.
And we're going to keep it going, guys. So we're not saying goodbye. We're going to stay here for 15 minutes. But Adam, we appreciate you. Any final thoughts before you go?
First of all, thank you for having me on here, Dave and Todd, and your team are fantastic people. So tons of gratitude. Here's what I have to say to everybody. Please, yes, buy the book. By the way, all author proceeds. So any book that I sell, any check I get from the publisher goes directly to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I don't make any money on the sale of this book. I'm donating all of it. So you're helping the kids when you buy the book. What I would have to say to everybody here is keep learning and keep giving. Okay. Keep learning and keep giving. Be a sponge. It's one of the things I say in this book. Sponges gather and they give. And that's what we need to do, is we need to go out and learn something and then give it to others. And that's how we continue to grow ourselves and how we continue to help other people. So with that, have a great day, guys. Thanks for having me on, and we'll see you all soon.
We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Safe travels. Thanks so much. So community, we're going to keep it rocking. Todd and I are going to unpack that a little bit. We're also a matter of less than 2 weeks from the Modern Real Estate Summit. So we want to talk a lot about how you can bring leadership to real estate agents. But Todd, that was pretty awesome, right?
Dude,
I really enjoyed that.
I had high expectations for Adam and what it is going to bring, but I thought that was a great investment. The 45 minutes, he said it already, right? You're trading skills or time or money, and you guys are trading. I think that was absolutely worthwhile. I've got 2 pages of notes myself, a bunch of takeaways. I just think there's so many ideas and opportunities that you can take well, A, to improve yourself, but I think also to share with your realtor partners, right? I think that one of the hesitations some of you will have is he's a REMAX guy and your agent is a Keller Williams or EXP or Real or whatever, uniform they show up with at work. And he's just a business leader who happens to be in their industry. So that's where the extra value is added. So there was just so many things. I always love it, right? When people can't see us when Adam's talking, but I can totally see when you and I are writing down similar notes at the same times. And I think there was just a ton of takeaways, and I hope he does record about the beast for the Modern Real Estate Summit. It sounds like he's in. I think it was great. We put him on the spot in front of our audience, so now he's going to be guilted into being part of it. But
right. We'll see how that
fired
goes.
up. Super fired up.
So yeah, the way he answered how to be relevant in the future, and he talked about how you're buying your customer back from Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook. I thought he articulated something in a way I had not heard it before. And it's pretty esoteric, but it goes along the lines of what we teach and we talk about. And heck, we could dedicate more of our next conversation with him to this, but if you as a modern local mortgage professional put your past customer database first, like your number one priority, how you put them in your database and how you communicate them with text and email. And then, are you putting them in a platform like Mortgage Coach so that you're delivering them advice? Are you putting them in a platform like HomeBot so that you're giving value and it's outside of, these other platforms? And then of course, are you on those platforms? Are you on Google? And remember, Google owns YouTube. So when he says Google, that's YouTube also. Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you creating content? And are you being intentional? And so, the playbook, it's pretty simple. It's not easy. And it requires you to, improve your habits around how you use your CRM and how you use these platforms. But I felt like we really got the roadmap. And I swear my big takeaway is party with the beast. I know everybody who knows me, that I always talk about have fun, play loose. Like that's a little mantra that I live by. But now I'm gonna add party to the beast to the party.
Yeah, think about that. Those guys are, he just said it there, right? You're charging up a hill as a Marine, or you're a SWAT person going to bat in a door, and they're like, that's the mantra that they're using. And I think, certainly none of us are doing that. Like, I'm super grateful for, you laid it out there for his service, but you know what, that's a great way to approach your day, right? He talked about overcoming fear. And that's why I talked about skill set and preparation. I think that's really important. But going back to your point of what you were saying, do you own the relationship better than they do, is what I wrote down. And I feel like that starts on the first call, right? The first time you talk to a client, you're building that long-term rapport and you're making commitments that you're going to take care of them, right? You're putting together a TCA, you're putting a video on it, you're building that relationship like he talked about. And then really it's what are you going to do afterwards? And, again, we've talked about it so much. There's so many easy buttons in there for you to do it. But he used one of my favorite words, is being intentional, right? He talked about you have to be intentional with your time. You have to be intentional with your social media. And so it's going to cause me to look back and, literally look at what's my team doing so we can better own the relationship, right? Because I heard it from loan officers on my team this week. Oh yeah, I was competing with somebody who, we pulled credit on a refi, and then they got 3 text messages within 30 minutes from lenders who bought the trigger lead. And we're saying, hey, you want a second opinion on your refi? Another one of my loan officers lost they didn't lose it, they got it back, but a servicer went after their loan and they thought it was their loan. And I kind of said what he said, you didn't own the relationship better than they did, right? The servicer went after him first. So I think it's also a good place. He said, look in the mirror, see how you're doing. Are you okay? And I would be taking that to heart. That would be, as a loan officer action plan, probably my biggest push to you guys, my biggest takeaway, other than making the real estate agent the hero.
Yeah, agreed. So Corby, thank you for commenting on, hey, he said in chat here, if you didn't come away with at least 5 profound takeaways, you weren't listening. So Corby, I'd love to know, what was your number one takeaway? And anybody who wants to share, whether it's at Facebook, YouTube, you're watching the recording, I'd love to know, what was your number one takeaway from that 40-minute conversation? And then Doug Sandler, you said, as a mortgage advisor, I would like to invite my realtors to the Modern Mortgage Summit is the price the same as the Modern Mortgage Summit? Can you send me a link? You betcha we can. And can I get a discount if I bought one last year? So let me tell you what we got going there, guys. And let me also tell you where some resources are at. So first of all, you could go to modernmortgagesummit.com, modernrealestatesummit.com. And you have a couple choices. You can buy one ticket for $99. You can buy, and we call it the branch pass, 25 tickets for $999, basically $1,000. And you can get 100 tickets and just tell every realtor you know, plus the realtors you want, the influencer pack. It is $1,500, so $1,499. So to get the discount, you got to buy in bulk tickets. Now, guys, we're going to do the same thing we did at the last event, where we are going to, we hired someone to transcribe it, create actionable notes. So not only is this something that you can watch live, and also everybody who buys it gets the 1-year pass. This will be ongoing content, and you'll have the notes. Like, we're helping you with the notes so that you could take these micro lessons and be a leader to realtors. Also, a couple other resources I want to highlight for everyone is that Deborah Bird, who is our social media consultant, she is keeping the Modern Real Estate Summit Instagram updated, and it's giving you content on how to take this event and bring it to your realtors. So for example, she has a script yesterday where Jeremy Forcier bought, he's an influencer, bought 100 tickets. And what is Jeremy saying? What's he texting? What's he emailing? How is he bringing this to realtors? It's right here. And every day we'll have another social media post. Also, over the weekend, Deborah and I are going to be writing an article for my LinkedIn profile. Remember, guys, every single day of the week, I post something inspirational and valuable for any loan officer that wants to be a modern mortgage professional, wants to be a mortgage coach. Follow me on LinkedIn. But on Monday, I'll be posting a playbook. So literally, it will just be like all the different resources we have to help you promote the event. We'll have that like a comprehensive playbook. And then, like I said, follow us on Instagram, Modern Mortgage Summit. And all this week, next week, we will be giving you ideas on how to bring this to your agents. Todd, anything you want to add to that?
Hey, Dave, can you bring back up the Modern Real Estate Summit Instagram page? I want to point out a post on there. So one of the things that Deborah offered up, if you're thinking about hosting people on your, at your office, right? So remember, you can get away, buy one ticket, and then you can host people at your office. So last Tuesday, she and I spent an hour unpacking how we would do that. How we would turn it into lunch and learns for the next 12 months, all the follow-up conversation. But if you look right below Jeremy, that is a free offer that Deborah offered up to you guys, where she said, email her info@plugandplaysm. If you're going to be hosting it, she'll actually throw your headshot in this graphic and send it to you so that you can promote it. So that's the easy button. So I would say easy, low kind of, low cost is email Deborah, do this, buy $100 ticket, invite people to your office, and then watch the video of how we got into more detail on Tuesday. Then, kind of the top producer way to do it would be to do that, invite them to your office, and then buy the $1,000 pack, and then give everyone access to it after the event so that they can go back and watch the videos. Because no one's going to sit with you for 6 hours in your office all day. Don't expect that. Don't ask that. But get them there, have them drop in, right? You can create around lunch. There's lots of things that you can do. And so I can't wait to see the article, because I think the article is going to make it what we talked about and just give you the bullet point steps of it. I think that's just such a great opportunity. And I think anytime that Deborah gives away something for free, she does it just every once in a while. She says, hey, email me and I'll do this for you. Do it. It's like an amazing opportunity. She's doing what she's basically doing for her paid clients. And then I would be following other people. Like I saw Shayla Gifford did a big post that, again, it was literally that picture of that, the top right picture that Dave showed of all the speakers. And she said, hey, I'm sponsoring this event. Reach out to me if you want a ticket. So that's how she's using social media to distribute her tickets. And so just know there's so much opportunity out there to use this. I feel like we're in fourth quarter, we're in the, whatever, call it the eighth inning of a baseball game, whatever analogy you want to use. And the bottom line is this, is that, for you to be relevant and keep things going into 2022 and gain momentum, this is just a really easy and inexpensive opportunity to do so.
Yeah. And guys, we're creating multiple videos. So not only do we have a show commercial, we've got 2 videos, one by Kyle Whistle. I'm going to bring it up. It's like less than a minute. It's 40 seconds. So tools like this you can use, and you could text this to your clients. So let's check out what Kyle has to say. One of America's top real estate agents. He's the #1 agent in all of San Diego. And this is a tool for you guys, you know, as you recruit realtors and bring realtors to this event, you guys can have this video and you can text it. Check it out.
What's up? It is Kyle Whistle out of San Diego, and I could not be more excited to be speaking for the second time at the Modern Real Estate Summit. This year, I'm going to bring a talk on how 30 seconds of your life can literally change somebody else's life. And that is all by the power of one-to-one video messaging. That is a video from me, one person, to you, one person, and how that could literally change your life. Cannot wait to share with you on exactly how to do it and how we are impacting lives every single day. I'll see you there.
So guys, I mean, I would go as far as to say that one keynote, studying it, watching it, then bringing the notes, the ideas to agents is going to be a home run for a lot of you folks. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of you helping us change the mortgage and real estate business. We believe that both mortgage professionals and real estate professionals are the most valuable advisors to most families in America. So guys, let's collaborate. Let's get agents. Let's collaborate together to get better and take it out there. So let's see if any more questions have come in.
It's funny that you played that video, Dave, because that video when Adam was talking and he was talking about, you know, impacting people, and like that video that Kyle's doing for the Modern Real Estate Summit totally came to my mind. Like that's just a great way that Kyle's going to teach us how to do that, which is kind of cool. I mean, I'm super excited for that. I just watched one of Ryan Serhant's videos that we got for the event. He was our #1 speaker last year. I think most of you know he's the #1 followed real estate brand in the world. He's got a keynote and a shorter, like a 4-minute video, which are both dynamite. And we also got 4 videos from Seth O'Byrne. He's also on Bravo TV. He is Kyle's competitor in San Diego. They go back and forth between who's going to be #1. And, you know, Seth was super highly rated last year as well, because those guys are professionals, right? They do that thing on the TV, and it's what we all aspire to be as we get on here on our own videos each week.
Right on, guys. So, hey, we're looking forward to next week. This call is a wrap. If you've got questions or comments, put them down below in chat. If you're getting value from the posts that we do on social media, please give them a like, share them with your mortgage friends. But specifically for this week and next week, follow the Modern Mortgage Summit Instagram. There's going to be a little nugget of value to help you promote this to your agents. Anyways, have a great weekend, everybody. This is a wrap, and we appreciate everybody. Take care.
All right, guys, go party with the beast.
Yeah, party with the beast, and do it by noon. Win by noon. Party with the beast. Let's go.